The higher we climbed on Angel's Landing, the worse the conditions got. What started as one of the most famous hikes in America quickly turned into a battle against brutal winds, narrow cliffs, and blowing sand that made this already dangerous trail feel even more exposed. And near the summit, we honestly considered turning around. Today we're hiking Angel's Landing, one of the most iconic and coveted hikes in the United States. This is a 5.4-mile round-trip hike with about 1,400 feet of elevation gain, steep switchbacks, chain-assisted cliff sections, and drop-offs that are definitely not for the faint of heart. In this video, we'll show you the best way to get to the trailhead, what each section of the hike is really like, and the unexpected conditions we faced near the summit that made this hike way more intense than we anticipated. Let's get started. Most visitors get to the trailhead by taking the shuttle bus from the visitor center inside Zion National Park. For Angel's Landing, you'll get off at stop 6, the Grotto. Now here's something important. Private vehicles are restricted in much of the park, and even vehicles with special permits aren't allowed past stop 5. But in our opinion, the best way to reach the trailhead is by e-bike.
Get out.
There are several rental shops right outside the park, but we brought our own bikes, which gave us way more flexibility and helped us avoid crowded shuttle lines. Just be aware, Zion does have regulations and power restrictions for personal e-bikes, so we'll leave a helpful link in the description below.
Yeah, your backpack looks good.
We started on the scenic Paris Trail, which eventually connects to the main canyon road used by the shuttle buses. Honestly, biking through Zion in the early morning light was an experience all by itself.
Private owned vehicle on those.
Once we reached the grotto, we made one final stop at the bathrooms, and trust us, you'll want to do the same before starting the climb, because after this point, the real work begins.
Should be a quick hike.
The trail starts on the West Rim Trail and eases you into the hike with a gradual climb. At first, it almost feels deceptively easy, but that changes quickly. Soon you'll enter a quieter section of the canyon that's known for protected owl habitat, and the elevation gain starts becoming much more noticeable. Then you reach a section called the Wiggles, and the name fits it perfectly. These tight switchback climb aggressively up the canyon wall and can absolutely gas you if you're not prepared. But once you finally reach the top, the views completely open up. This area is called Scout Lookout. There are pit toilets here, and this is also where park rangers check permits before allowing hikers onto the final section of Angel's Landing. And from this point on, everything changes.
Then if you fall right here, it'd be very, very fatal. Fall.
The final half mile is the famous chain section. This is the part you've probably seen online. Narrow ridge lines, steep drop-offs, and metal chains bolted directly into the rock to help hikers climb safely. If you're afraid of heights, this section will absolutely test you.
Hand on the chain, feet head.
We took it slow, carefully watching every step and making sure we always had sure footing. And then the wind started picking up. Near the summit, the gust became intense. At times, we were getting blasted by sand and powerful crosswinds while standing on exposed rock with huge drop-offs on both sides. Some section felt so exposed that we genuinely debated turning around.
don't mind. I'm sorry.
But after pushing through the final stretch, we made it to the summit. And despite the chaos of getting there, the views were unreal.
The most dangerous part is the going down.
Yes.
This is where you are.
Honestly, coming down may have been more difficult than going up. This is usually when hikers start getting tired or complacent, and that can be dangerous on a trail like this. By the time we descended down the chain section, the trail had become much more crowded with people hiking up. And because some parts are barely wide enough for two people to pass safely, every moment requires patience and communication. After experiencing it ourselves, it completely makes sense why the park requires permits and limits the number of hikers on this section of the trail. If you're planning to hike Angel's Landing, here are our biggest tips from this experience. Number 1, start early. If you're using an e-bike, getting to the trail before the shuttle crowds arrive make a huge difference. Early morning gave us cooler temperatures, fewer people, and a much calmer experience overall. Number 2, go on a weekday if possible. Weekends can get extremely crowded. A weekday hike helps reduce the congestion. Number 3, check the weather carefully. This is a huge one. Wind conditions at the summit are far more intense than they are down at the canyon. And if there's rain, those rock surfaces and chains can become extremely slippery and dangerous very quickly. Always respect the conditions. Angel's Landing is absolutely one of those bucket list hikes that live up to the hype. Even with brutal winds and unexpected conditions, we still think it was completely worth it. It's challenging, it's intimidating, and it's easily one of the most unforgettable hikes we've ever done. If you've hiked Angel's Landing before, let us know of your experience in the comments below. And if you have questions about permits, e-bikes, or the trail itself, drop those down in there too. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next adventure.